Boys and girls, winter is gone. And now it's springtime. This is one of my favorite times of year. Oh yeah, spring is really awesome because it's not cold anymore. The sun stays out longer. And when the sun stays out longer, it heats up the earth and the earth gets warmer and all sorts of cool things start to happen, boys and girls. The bears start waking up, the squirrels are running around gathering nuts, and the birds are singing, boys and girls. Cut it out already, I'm trying to sleep here, hello? Boys and girls, it's such a happy time when it warms up and so many awesome things starts to happening. The grass starts turning green. Oh yeah. The plants start growing. The flowers start blooming on the trees. It is pretty. It is beautiful. And boys and girls, one of the really cool things happen is like when the plants start growing, there's this thing called pollination. Can you say pollination? Yeah. Boys and girls, this is how it works. When the plants start growing, the flower begins to open up and there's pollen on the inside of the flower. It's like a dust. It's like, have you ever seen your mom cook chicken or something like that, or pork chops, and she takes flour and flops it around in there, and the flour gets kind of puffy and kind of moves around like smoke, yeah, like that. Well, boys and girls, there's this little powder on the flowers, and that's pollen. And what happens, boys and girls, the bees go to the flower because they want nectar. Can you say nectar? Yeah. Boys and girls, it's a really cool thing for them because they love to eat the nectar. And so the bee is on the flower. Nectar! I love nectar! That was a little too much nectar. Gotta do it slower. But it's so delicious. Calm down, Sean Brown. Boys and girls, while they're on the plant, their feet, their little bee feet, their little bee feet. I can't say I said bee feet. Their little bee feet, their little bee legs, they're in the pollen, and they get the pollen on their feet, and then they go from one flower to the next flower. And when they take the pollen from that flower and put it on another flower, that's called pollination. Can you say pollination? Yeah! Isn't that cool? That's what helps makes the flower grow. And sometimes, boys and girls, the wind when it blows through the trees and it blows through the plants, it blows the pollen around and it goes from flower to flower. Boys and girls, do you remember sometimes when you're driving, well, you're not driving yet, I'm sorry. When your mom's driving or you're in a car and you look at it, it was clean on Monday, and on Tuesday, it's got yellow dust all over it. Yeah, it's like, didn't I just wash this car? What is this yellow dust? Pollen. The pollen's all over the cars, boys and girls, because it blows around. It's not good for the car, it's good for the plant. And some people have hay fever. Achoo! And they don't like pollen, but they call it hay fever. Why don't they call it pollen fever? I need to talk with the people about that. It should be called pollen fever. Wait a minute. Stay focused, Sean Brown. Squirrel!